Is there anything I can do for my chest? Oh my god. Woo! Okay. Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to Operator. Now, Operator is a first-person tactical shooter with a lot of diegetic systems in play. You have to manually manipulate your firearm, for one, but it takes place in various hot zones around the world where we, a DevGuru operator, Naval Special Warfare operator, are tasked with various missions, and we can go at those our own way. We can approach them however we want. So without further ado, let's hop in to Lone Wolf here. You see I'm already kitted. There we go. We're in the game here. So let us go check our laptop. You see we have the team room here, our operations laptop. We're going to do the new missions. They just released 3 new, and they're all under the CIA missions, it does seem. So we're going to do Armenia first. So, Operation Hollow Sky. CIA handler says, after you nailed Mikhail Galashvili, known to you as Houston, we found new intel finding the source of the SAM site in Armenia. We believe this is the location they launched the missiles from that shot down the American airliner. This location is known to belong to the Vostok group, a mercenary group we know little about. Any intelligence you can gather on site can help provide further insight into the group. Your objective is to destroy that SAM launcher and eliminate anyone who gets in your way. Make sure you commence SSE, and remember, this one is strictly off the books. The host nation is unaware of our kinetic operations on their soil, and we'd like to keep it that way. No room for error, gentlemen. Good luck. 20 to 40 hostiles on site. We're going to infiltrate either tunnel entry or by Little Bird. We do have ISR. We're going to have to call for extraction. Does seem. Call for extraction or tunnel extract. All right, very good. So you see here, it looks like some rocky woodland. We have 2 targets. We're gonna take a pause real quick and go set up our rifle. I was just playing Operator. I recorded several hours worth of footage. That's gonna come out at a later date. Might be a 2-in-1 kind of day or something, but we were messing around with the new Kandahar, or no, not Kandahar, but the Kabul mission on tier 1 difficulty. And oh man, let me tell you what, tier 1 difficulty is no joke. So we are going to use the M4 platform. You see, I've got this one built now. This is our Monk rifle. This is not too shabby, but what I'm going to do is replace our EOTech G33 setup, if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. Where is our... There it is. I'm going to put a... I'm going to put a Unity riser on. Put this forward a little bit. And then I'm going to throw a 30 millimeter right about there. Yes, very good. And then we're going to throw a Vortex Razor in there. Make sure that's sitting correctly. Throw the magnification handle on it. Throw a railed... No, I don't want that in the rear, excuse me. I want a railed cap on the front. And I'm going to throw... perhaps... No, actually, you know what? Put a flat rail on there, and then we'll put a canted sight on our right-hand side there. And we'll put an RMR mount there. Yes, very good. So that is going to require us to flip. No, perhaps not. Let's check this out real quick. Let's check this out. How does this look? Very good. And I think caps, yeah, caps is the default for switching your optic. So that looks good. That's not obscured by our Surefire whatsoever. And I'll show you, do a little fit check. We are loaded for bear. I did have us play in this pipe from Tarkov, because you can almost one-to-one him. Actually, we're gonna, why not? Let's, where's the beard? Yeah, there it is. Why not? We'll play his pipe for a little bit. Sound like fun? Very good. All right, so let's, I want to double check our kit. Yeah, we're running M855A1, which is an armor-piercing 5.56 round, as well as the P320 X5 series by SIG. We got not hollows, but we got ball ammo in there, M882. All right, let's do some joint task force missions in Armenia. Very good. I say we have several targets. I say we do the let's go in at Hotel 1. No, those are for landing zones. You know what? Let's do Alpha 1. We'll do 10 a.m. And let's just rock it. So, like I said earlier, I had recorded a whole bunch of us messing around with Tier 1 mode. We had every bit of 30 deaths. At first, we were attempting to fire on the enemy with our Reaper drone, which worked for a little bit. But man, the AI is insane. But we're not gonna worry about that. Oh, that's our exfil. Very good. Let's check our Surefire is working. We got our illuminator on. Got to go through the tunnel. The red tunnel, our worst nightmare. You can see the chem lights illuminating the way. But I figured Operator is one of those games that has endless replayability. Much like Ground Branch, if you're familiar, anything like that. So we're coming out of the service. Oh, wow. Holy crap. God, that's awesome. Man, this compared to Ground Branch, which this is the only comparison I'm going to make. Operator does not take itself as seriously, but at the same time, it takes itself so unbelievably serious. It's got a feel to it. You see that shooter down there? It's every bit of 150 meters, maybe more, maybe 200 meters. It's got a feel to it that Ground Branch does not capture, right? I have nothing but praise for Operator. The time between updates, sucks as a player, of course, but, they're back with this new update. We got 3 new PvE maps to mess around with, and we're going to experiment with them. We're going to try to knock out all 3 of them. We have at least 3 shooters up ahead. I'm going to take a knee and check our attack. So I got really intimately familiar with how to use this in the last part. So up ahead, that is Delta 1. We have 2, 4, 6, 7 shooters, it looks like. At least 7 shooters. We're going to take them out, and then we're going to move on the Site 1, our first phase line. So, no time like the present. might as well just start popping heads. Ooh. Ah, those SOBs. So when you start a new mission in Operator, sometimes you have to chamber around. I don't exactly know what the parameters are for that, because I've entered before and not had to chamber around. I've entered after... I've entered like the same mission after death and had to chamber around because I had expended all of them previously. We're just gonna push up here, I suppose. Run into the tree line a little bit. Take cover behind this big boulder here. See the road we're meant to follow. I'm just trying to get a better lay of the land here. We're gonna dip down here. I've been playing too much Dagger Directive. You see me taking any high ground I can find. Alright, push, 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 push. Take this corner. Real tight. I'm not gonna play this like super Tactical Tom style, but I am going to... Oh, God bless America. Okay. We definitely took a round. That's okay. You see here, there is a brand new system for our health. Kind of reminiscent of Tarkov. Each limb individually being represented. It was a radial menu for those of you that played this prior to the 0.08.4421 update. And the radial system made 0 sense and did not work. It would have been cool if it was more fleshed out, but it wasn't. And as a result, healing suffered. It was either you took no rounds and completed your operation, or you took a round and you probably bled out. Oh, right. Ooh, shooter. Christ alive. You're speaking Russian, so we got Russian PMCs in Armenia. Very good. Same guys from the other mission where we killed... I'm trying to get off that freaking rock. Dead check. Those are the same guys from the operation it mentioned, where we took out HVT Houston. So Houston is the leader of a PMC organization that shot down an American airliner. I don't know the whole story. Honest Engine. That's what I do know, though. God, the saturation, it's still so bright. It is so bright. My biggest complaint about Operator is, and I have very few, surprisingly, you know. I know I've got some criticisms for things. But my biggest criticism about Operator is it has it's very bright. It's very dark and it's very bright at the same time, which can be a good thing. But the gamma is all messed up, and I've tweaked the settings and messed around with it, and nothing really seems to help. Like the overexposure and the saturation, it's very very 2013, 2014, 2015 Unity horror style oversaturation and overexposed. But that is a small criticism. The game is awesome. I love it. I love the customization. I can't wait to see it get worked on further and developed further. We're going to handrail this main road until I figure out where we're going. I should have checked our ISR before we stepped off. You see us there at the bottom. We've got quite the walk ahead of us. So we're going to shoot up to this curve. We don't have a bad guy ahead for about, looks like 300 meters. There's going to be one shooter probably off in a tower or something, maybe off in the tree line up ahead. But what Operator does well is, especially with this update, I'm noticing it's punchy. It's really punchy. The engagements are tight and well-rounded. The AI is a little messy. They like to all funnel to your position, which can be a good thing if they do it in a way that's not in a straight line. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've been playing Operator and killed 15 to 20 guys back to back. Tower. Yep, there's the shooter. I put one in his neck. That dude is dead. But I can't tell you how many times I've played this. Yeah, definitely dropped that dude in the tower. Where I've had the entirety of the map, you know, push on us in a single file line, and I run out of ammo. You know, I play this as realistically as possible with my kids. You know, I don't really mess around and play with goofy kits very often. At all, really. You know, I like my standard SF kits. But nevertheless, what was I getting at? Oh, yeah, so I like my standard SF kits. So, you know, 30 rounds in a magazine maximum. You know, I'm not playing a saw gunner, you know. In this, because of the, you know, because you have to manually chamber your bolt, much like in Dagger Directive, it is not very fun to play as a marksman because of that. So no bolt actions. You know, I'm playing with an M4 platform or a similar AR platform, whether it be an HK or whatever, and that's what we're getting. So right now I'm doing a little bit of Overwatch, just seeing what I can see before we creep in here. This is our next objective. See, we got guys on patrol outside the objective. We smoked the sentry, and then you see our final OBJ out there where that smokestack is. Man, Armenia is beautiful. But, yeah, if you got 15 guys rushing you and you put 2 rounds in each, you know, that's a full mag. And most likely you're putting 10 rounds in the first guy, you know. It's just it's a mess. The AI needs work, but, you know, you can forgive it, especially on these more expansive maps. Oh, yeah, shooter. Dropped him? Wonder if that alerted everybody. I think we can't sprint, can we? What button is our tactical walk? I have made a mistake somewhere because I've messed up our walking speed. So right now we are taking contact and all right, there we go. Jesus Christ, I don't know what I did to mess us up like that. I'm gonna push. Man, that's bad. I'm gonna have to fix that eventually. I don't know when we're gonna have a chance to fix that. Hold on, it might just be our leg injury coming back to get us. It doesn't seem like there's a an option to like speed up our movement. Oh. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We had having some technical difficulties here. I don't know if our morphine wore off and our leg was sore, causing our movement to be slowed or what, but we had a little bit of a hiccup there. You can see me trying to mess with it, but what we're gonna do is do this again. Check our ISR. We got much more much more spread out contact. I am going to take the liberty. First, going to chamber around, and then I'm going to take the liberty here to scan that area up ahead. That is Delta 1, same as before. We are going to push from the left. We're going to hit the tree line over here, much like we did the first time, and light these suckers up. But Operator is a lot of fun to play. I play this in my free time when I don't want to put a lot of effort into something, which is funny because, you know, you can really spend some time putting effort into a shooter like this. I end up spending 30 minutes putting my kit together and playing around with different uniform combinations, because I've said before, I love a custom character creation screen. If you've got that in your game and it's in depth, believe you me, I'll play it. We should be using our ISR right now. Got two guys in the structure to our right, it seems. But yeah, I like messing around with the kits. The reason I was playing... Oh, they don't know we're here yet. That's phenomenal. The reason I was playing that Tier 1 mode earlier, not Tier 1 mode, but the Tier 1 difficulty, is because they have added in unlockable cosmetic items for challenges. Can we not? Oh, okay. Well, I thought I was being cool. I'm actually being goofy. I'm actually being real goofy here. But yeah, they've added in cosmetics for challenge. Dropped him. For challenges within the game. Good thing we packed M855A1. M855, we would have put 5 more in him, and he probably would have shot us. We're going to push hard and fast onto this objective here. I really should be clearing this structure out. We're going to pop our head in. Ooh, Christ. Right in the grape. Ooh-wee. All right. So, you were watching several tactical blunders, one after another. We definitely had a shooter up high, right? I'm not going to throw a frag, because you should never throw a frag uphill. But we are... Oh, God! Here we are, bleeding out. Not good. Not good, my dear friend. We need to use a bandage, maybe? Yes, bandage works. Okay. I realize it's goofy to try to use a tourniquet on something like a thorax, but it's a force of habit to press that key, or not press that key, but try to immediately fix everything with the tourniquet. Let's drop some morphine into our chest and try to get rid of that pain status effect. I think we're just gonna have to be in pain for the rest of the op. Moving up here, got a shooter to the right of the road, as well as 2 on the opposite side. Something that I was trying to articulate in the last part, that may or may not see the light of day. I don't know. I recorded a lot, but I just wasn't... if you're not feeling what you're doing, then stop doing it. You know, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, or what you're doing is becoming frustrating or whatever, you know, unless it's an obligation and you have to do said thing, you really shouldn't be doing, you know, like if your hobby is no longer serving you or no longer helping you, don't do it anymore. You know, do something else. And that's Observer Monk's advice for you. Today, as it has been in other days, I just realized that our freaking Surefire and our God bless America, our D-ball are clipped together. Our laser designator. Let us take up a prone position here, or a crouch position, and let me check my ISR once again. We are moving. Yeah, we have a clear shot here to the objective. There is a bad guy over here somewhere. How's our heart rate looking? Low. It's the morphine. Morphine's definitely working. Okay, let's we're gonna ignore that guy. We can really get in and out without having to kill every single guy. But I was messing around trying to get these new cosmetic items unlocked, hence playing on tier 1 difficulty, and it was brutal. And after about the 15th time, I was like, man, maybe we should do something else. And I just kept pushing. And I have a extremely stubborn personality type where I have to push and push and push. But I realize that that is not so enjoyable to watch. You know, or at least I think it wouldn't be. So that's why we're here doing this now. Instead, I thought this would be a good caveat, or not caveat, but a good compromise, because I want to play operator, but I don't want to play super hard operator. You know, it's like playing the CDDA challenge 50 times in a row, like, and not having to, you know, edit my butt off. You know what I'm saying? There's a shooter up here outside the wire, it does seem. Yeah, we have a good amount of contact here. Let's get a good view. We have all sorts of bad guys here. This area where the SAM missile is pretty wide open. I'm gonna check. Is there anything I can do for my chest? Oh my god. Woo! Okay. Let's do this. I thought I saw a rifle slip over the edge there. Was that the guy? That would have had to have been the guy, right? Nope, there's one. Oh man, good thing we packed M855 A1. Good thing, because these guys are wearing armor. They're wearing the CB13. I think that's what it is. Pretty sure they're wearing CB13. Or I think that's what it's called. Maybe that's the helmet I'm thinking of. The Russian body armor. There's a shooter behind that tree. Shooter high. So another thing. Christ alive. I wonder if you'll see the famous AI. Oh, Christ. Okay, shooter front. I don't want to turn my back on the enemy, but there's also a shooter over here. We're going to back up slowly. I'm going to throw a grenade over this wall. I think that might have killed him. All right, time to get our... Oh, time to ranger up, folks. All right, we're going to make entry. I'm going to reload. And then we're going to make entry into this ammo depot. Oh. All right. Very bad. This is very bad. Cement. I eat cement for breakfast. Right after my bowl of nails. Oh my god. Okay. Woo! Ammo depot. Yeah, no. This is... Oh, man, this is an arms depot. This is a Is this a blow-in-place mission? I really should have listened to the CO on this one. Or our handler. Oh, God. Is this clean? Did we clean them? What are we supposed to do here? I didn't bring a charge. There's bad guys moving on us. I'm about to come through the front gate. Ooh. When you have this much control over your mobility, though, I tend to start clicking a bunch of buttons I don't need. Oh. God. Hey, folks. Hey there. That was a silly mistake, and it won't happen again. Wow. So, what just happened, I was talking about the movement being goofy, right? Like having so much control over our body with all the various keys and whatnot. If you're not in tune with your keyboard, you know, maybe this is not the shooter for you. God, having an open bowl. You should not be able to spawn into one of these freaking evolutions, one of these operations without a round in the chamber. I think that's a little goofy. But we did die because we didn't have our chambered round. I didn't transition fast enough, which is okay. It's my fault. You know, you live and you learn. Make goofy mistakes. It's funny when you're playing a game. If you have any level of operational experience whatsoever, regardless of your background, when you play these games, it's really funny because you're not in tune with your weapon system like you would be in a legitimate scenario, you know, in the combat scenario. Like, I have experience with the M4 platform, let's say, right? When I play operator or ground branch or anything that's supposed to be like a sim, I feel like a noob. Like I feel very untrained and unprofessional because I have no control, no feeling over the weapon system itself. God bless. Like, here, is there a round in the chamber or not? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. You know, I can't feel the weight, etc. Of the weapon system, and it definitely creates quite a stressful experience. Definitely creates a stressful experience when playing, and I think that's a good thing. You can't totally recreate a shooter. Not even in VR, like not until, you know, in the 20 years into the future where we're hooking ourselves up to a rig and you've seen videos of the individuals that play PUBG on treadmills, right? And they have a full rig where each action is attached to their actual body movements. I can't stand to look at that freaking laser designator overlapping the flashlight. But, you know, you have they have these full systems at play. It's like the shooter variant of someone who professionally plays. I say professionally very lightly, but someone who is very much into something like American Truck Simulator, Farming Simulator, someone who plays pilot sims for fun. You know, those individuals that spend tens of thousands of dollars on rigs that, you know, move with your body, yada yada. That's the shooter equivalent, are these like standing treadmills I've seen. I can't wait for the day that VR takes it a step further and we have, you know, we have to expend our you know, our own stamina in game. That would be really neat to see something like that. Now I've heard people talk about like adding like like a stinging effect or something if you got shot. I really think people might go a little batty with stuff like that. You know, people are just interesting. You know, just to put it lightly, people push things very far. We are taking contact, and I'm not really sure where. We're approaching 2 guys. I should have checked our ISR. I wanted to talk instead. I'm not being a very good operator today, ladies and gentlemen. I think I killed him. I'm going to reload. I think that might be a bad guy. No, that is a street light. And that is a boulder. There is... Okay, he's considerable distance away. He's not in the tower. There is another shooter down here, though. I think he's close to the road. Or on the road, perhaps. I don't know. When we hit the kill switch up here and the dinner bell gets rung, we'll definitely see him, no doubt. We have several targets in here. We have one on the other side of the road. It seems. Go technical. There he is. Lights out. Alright, we got this big LPVO on top. Or low power variable optic. What a fun phrase. It is clunky and gets in our way, but it is bar none the best solution to mid to long range gunfights. Is that a... No, that's a shadow. We gotta pull it together here, folks. I'm losing it. I've lost it. I've done lost it. And YouTube is not helping the status of my mind. Yeah, there's the jump scare again. So we don't have shooters in these structures. Not like I can really see them anyways. It's very overexposed with the light on. Okay, I'm gonna hide real quick and check our attacker. Very good. I don't know how to blow this in place, per se. I don't know if that's an objective. Let's see, we have all these crates and whatnots. We've never had to do anything like this before, so I think we just clear this out. I mean, I could toss a frag in there and, you know, see what the hell happens. But, oh, shooter. Dropped him. Let's move on the... Oh, okay, we can't cross that threshold. Very good. Let's move on the second structure here. We got a shooter outside the wire on the right-hand side. I'd say we probably push this way. And try to hit him. Let's not go in the front gate. Let's hit him from the rear here. Very good. This is so much better than... Oh, that's... Yep, that's the SAM. Sure is. It's crazy seeing... I don't know why I'm so surprised. Like, I'm not playing a... You know... tactical shooter. Like, wow. I'm just excited to see a SAM system. Okay, those were low shots, but that's alright. Definitely killed the dude. I should have just packed him. Lord have mercy. Where are they shooting us from? Hard telling sometimes. It really is. Ooh, Christ almighty. What did we talk about before? Steam the groin, right? Oh, we did take a round. Holy cow. Put a bandage on our stomach. And we're just going to have to deal with the pain for the time being. Caps. Let's continue on here. Oh, Christ alive, man. Maybe not. Maybe not. We've got so many shooters down this way. We're going to move on them. We have cover in between us and them here. We need to use it. Oh, Christ alive, man. You know, I always say, when we're playing these games, you know, and you're looking for your targets, you got to really be in tune with your environment and the colors and the differences in color in your environment. That is the #1 way to identify your target is, well, movement first. Movement and then shape and color. Or more like movement, color, and shape, right? I have no idea where these shooters are. I think I just found it. I think I found him. Something's telling me that we can't enter these buildings. I am going to give that a try before we push on, because if we have to go back and clear... yes, we can enter them. I was goofy. I was goofy to think we couldn't. All right. Hey, if you were tuning in to watch some really cool CAG guy do, you know, cool CAG guy stuff, you should just watch the freaking CAG training video where the dude runs like I'm running now in game for a good 300 meters and then clears a house. The dude's in CAG, Delta, SFOD, whatever the hell you want to call them. They move like a modern day phalanx. A group of Vostok. I see. What am I to do? Oh my. We are to blow in place. Very good. Very good. Now, hopefully, this is far enough. Backblast area clear. We're going to hit it right on the rear. Nice. Oh, how fun was that? Very good. But yeah, guys, I'm doing my best here. I am not the best game player in the world. When it comes to these shooters, man, like I've played shooters my whole life, and I sure do love a shooter. But when it comes to playing on like super difficult difficulties, especially with these shooters for the YouTube channel, you're gonna have to give me a little bit of time, because, you know, I'm figuring it out. If you're coming to watch tactics, you're in the wrong place. I apologize. This is not a channel for tactics. I might talk about tactics or talk about, you know, different things such as why you do this, like why you would take up a prone supported position in a certain scenario, or you know, why you shoot at the groin, or like in certain CQB scenarios, or why you carry a pistol, why you carry more than 2 tourniquets. You know, there's all sorts of stuff we can talk about, but I'm not here to, this is not like a tactics-based channel, and I'm not here for, you know, to be your military only plug, you know. But hey, if you like that stuff, you're definitely going to get a healthy dose of it here. Just maybe not your like central thing. I'm not here to explain tactics to you, is what I'm saying. You know, I'm here to make enjoyable content for everybody. Great. I'm so glad that we know now that we are to detonate these, blow them in place. That is so cool. We'll be doing that. We'll be doing that moving forward here. Now, I did want to talk about the channel, and we're a small channel. We're growing. You know, we are getting a lot more views than I ever would have expected, and I think that's really neat. We're constantly getting new views every single day. We're getting new views. We left a guy over there. We'll leave him to think about his actions. We'll leave both of them to think about their actions. How about that? At least 5 shooters. 1 on the outside, to the right. 2 at the front. Might be able to blast him from here, honestly. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. All day. But, you know, you might be sitting at home asking yourself, Observer Monk, what the hell is this channel? You know, what's the point? What are we getting at here? And I'm so glad you asked, because I'm here to tell you, well, I really don't know. I really don't know what this channel is. You know, I want to be a horror exploration channel. Part of me wants that. Part of me wants to be, this, you know, stalker channel. We're something unique, is what we are. That's what this channel is. This is a unique blend of several different mainstay genres. And we're going to touch on a large variety of subjects, which we could be playing Operator like we're doing right now, with a kit, like not a kit, but like a, how do I say? With an outfit based on Big Pipe from Tarkov, you know, and we're going to talk about, random stuff. The point I'm making is the channel is a lot of different things, and one of my biggest weaknesses right now that I'm learning about myself is I might have confidence on the microphone, and I might be able to speak fine and speak fluent, like consistently, but I can't really articulate my thoughts. And, you know, for like, say, a horror exploration channel, that's kind of imperative, right? For me to be able to get a clean and clear and concise point across to my viewers. Which, hey, you guys are my viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. But with the channel, I want to touch on horror that you might have experienced, or you might understand, or it might make sense, but different horror than just like, oh, you know, scary Japanese ghosts, which we're going to have plenty of that. Don't you worry. We are going to have plenty scary Japanese ghosts on the channel, but I want to talk about topics such as war, you know, the horror that is war, and horror in places that you might not expect it. So, war is hell, right? War inevitably, you know, there are no innocence in war. There is no innocence, not innocence. There is no innocence in war. War is a dark, nasty, evil thing that has existed since the dawn of time, right? Since humans could breathe, since Neanderthals could breathe, you know, their objective has always been to harm one another. I mean, we are predators after all. We do have eyes in the front of our head, you know. But, I mean, going even, you know, stories in the Bible with Cain and Abel. We CANOE Club that dude. War and death and murder is just inherently part of the human condition, right? And unfortunately, that guy was a little difficult to take down. And unfortunately for us, you know, it doesn't seem like war is ever going to stop. As much as I like to believe in a utopian society, a clean, happy, healthy, beautiful utopian society where war doesn't exist and no one has to face those horrors, you know, and my children and my children's children won't have to, you know, won't feel obligated to fight in a freaking proxy war. Wow, that didn't, you know, as much as I'd love to believe in that, it's just not true. And yeah, I guess you have a, you know, choice whether or not you fight in whatever. That's not the point. The point is, war is awful, and the horror of war is not touched on enough, in my opinion. Normally you play as a hero in a lot of these games, and you know, Operator doesn't have a story, so I'm using this as a platform right now to talk about this concept. But there we go. All right, that's 3 of 3. Very good. We didn't do our soft objective, which was pull intelligence off these guys, but I'd say us being like, hey, you know, this little terror group that you're worried about, they're a pretty well funded and well connected terror group, considering they have ballistic missiles. But Spec Ops: The Line was one of those story-driven games that had a good, detailed look about the terror and the horror of war. And not terror as in right in your face. I'm talking about the terror that sticks with you for years after, you know, I'm talking about post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as, I'm going to touch on PTSD a little bit. Trigger warning, I suppose, if, you know, if you struggle with PTSD. There are some things in this world that human beings are not meant to experience, right? We live in a modern society. There's 100,000 things that the human mind and the human body are not meant to experience, that we're never meant to experience, you know, that we experience on a day-to-day basis. You know, you ever wonder why humans are so anxious anymore, yada yada. And this is not, there's too much stimuli, right? Now take extremely negative stimuli. Let's take gunfire and explosions and fear and adrenaline and anxiety. Let's take all that, wrap it up into a ball, compress it, and force feed it to an individual for 9, 12, 15, 18 months at a time, right? And those are just deployment rotations, right? You could, anywhere from 4 to 12, 15, 18 months, right? So when you expose your body to extreme amounts of stress and distress and duress over, you know, an extended period of time, not only does that change the way your body reacts to that stimuli, you know, your body can start to actively crave negative stimuli. It's also the reason why a lot of, oh man, look at those guys. Where'd they come from? Ooh, not good, not good. We We have some trouble brewing, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. When you expose people to that stress, it does all sorts of nasty stuff to the body. And I'm not here to give you a psychoanalysis on PTSD, even though that might be what it feels like or seems like. But we as humans are not supposed to experience stress on a grand scale. And the rapid disconnection from that stress, from that painful stimuli, is what causes post-traumatic stress disorder and in a large amount of chronic post-traumatic, not acute post-traumatic. Those are two separate things, and we are still very much so new and upcoming when it comes to the study of post-traumatic. It is still a very, very new thing. Psychologists are still creating treatment and creating... Ooh, that is... You see that? Treatment and programs to help individuals struggling. Let's kick it off. One more. Dropped him. Very good. I thought that was going to be more of a problem. It seemed like everything was fine. So that's a little bit of the scientific side of PTSD, and I might be mixing my stuff a little bit. I'm not a doctor, I guess I should say that too. I'm not trying to give you medical advice. If you think that, then you're goofy. But PTSD and your actions, the consequences of your actions. Let's talk about Spec Ops: The Line. In one of their scenes in that game, the scene everyone surely remembers, when they use the Delta team uses white phosphorus munitions at the gate in Dubai, thinking that they were dropping munitions on a large enemy encampment, which the enemy that you fight is the 33rd Infantry Battalion, which is a fictional battalion they created for the game. But not only are you tasked with... You're tasked on a reconnaissance mission to go to this foreign country where the military, the active body that was sent on the first peacekeeping operation has gone totally dark. Right? Look at that successful mission. Just took half an hour. No problem. 0 out of 7 intel secured. We killed 36 dudes and were hurt. So we got a C rating. Not the best. But hey, c'est la vie. But you go here and you start taking contact, and you're like, who the hell are these guys? And it's like, oh man, they're wearing UCP. It ends up being the 33rd. The damn 33rd is what they call them. The damned 33rd. Right? 33rd Infantry. They've gone rogue. And their commanding officer becomes the main antagonist. So not only are you firing on your own brothers in arms, but there's just so much confusion and nasty stuff going on. You see the brutality and like the savagery that they're committing. And you partake in that, when they drop that white phosphorus on the gate. This is a major spoiler, but if you haven't played, I mean, come on, the game's been out for over 10 years. They drop the Willie Pete on top of these freaking civilians, thinking it's the enemy, and they kill hundreds upon hundreds of civilians. The 33rd was trying to evacuate, and you can see the definitive shift in everyone's attitude in the squad or the team after that incident. There are several incidents in that game that cause a rift between you. I believe his name was Walker. Now, if I'm wrong, please correct me. And the rest of the team. I haven't played that game in forever, but I'll play it on the channel one day. But there's so much, nasty stuff going on. It really causes issues, right? and that continues on. And by the end, your player character is so unbelievably damaged from the events that they witnessed in Dubai. And this is a Delta operator, written as a Delta operator, right? So for those of you that don't know, Combat Applications Group, or Delta, Special Forces Operational Detachment, Delta, is the premier, tip of the spear, premier tier 1 special operations unit in the world, by far. There have been numerous Team 6 guys, your DevGru, your Naval Special Operations, go from being in DevGru to going to Delta, but no one has ever left the unit to go anywhere else. Very cool. Fun little fact. So these guys are the cream of the crop, mentally conditioned, physically conditioned, hand-selected, work well together. Might not be the best guy for the job. They're the right guy for the job, though, So it shows, this guy, Walker, I'm fairly certain his name was Walker, just absolutely put through the ringer. And I feel like that should be expanded on. I feel like concepts like that should be expanded on more. I'd love to see the effects of, I'd like to see a experience where you play as an operator that's struggling, because not everyone struggles, but someone who does struggle, after a really bad op, or something goes wrong, or something just sticks with you, something out of the blue. It could be anything, you'd be surprised at what it is that sticks with you versus what doesn't, But anyways, I'd like to see an experience where, you play as an SF or whatever, even just an infantry dude who, comes home after a rough deployment, and you get to see some of the stuff. But that's enough of me talking your head off. That's what I'm getting at, though, with the channel, is I want to be more than just a goofy horror or shooter channel. I want to explore some of these concepts a little bit more, and I'm working really hard on getting my commentary down and defining it, getting it a lot cleaner for your listening pleasure, and also so I don't drive myself nuts thinking, watching back the video being like, dang, I should have said that, or because I got a schedule here. We gotta gotta keep it locked. But all that aside, yeah, I think war as a horror backdrop is severely underplayed and underrated, and that's another thing that's something we're gonna explore going forward, the horror and the hell of war. But Operation Desert Fish, CIA handler Khalil Rashid Kagiani, a known ISIS-K senior commander, has seized a town in the Kabul province. They massacred hundreds of civilians, then converted the area into an ISIS-K staging ground. Intel confirms that they are producing IEDs and spreading propaganda. If they further expand into the region, this can destabilize the Middle East further, raising the profile of ISIS-K. Kogiani and his group pose as an extreme threat and needs to be contained. Your objective is to capture or kill Khalil Rashid Kogiani and any other ISIS-K who get in your way. Make sure you commence SSE, and remember, this one is strictly off the books. The host nation is unaware of your kinetic operations on their soil. We like to keep it that way. No room for error, gentlemen. 30 to 60 hostiles. They smoked all the civilians. We're infiltrating in armored SUVs. We do have a Reaper on standby. Infiltrate. We extract the same way we infiltrated. We got to kill this dude, smoke the ISIS presence, and do search and seizure. So we're going to change our kit for this just a little bit. I'm going to continue to do these at daytime. We're going to take this 416, which is arguably a better M4 or AR platform. We're going to... actually, we should probably... Let's see here. What do we got? Division. Very cool. Ghost. Kandahar. Yes, very good. Red team. Hey, big shouts out to GBRS Group. You see right here, this is their Hydra mount, and that's very cool to see that. DJ Shipley, Team 6 guy, being one of the founders there. I'll tell you something. We got all sorts of cool stuff here. Let's do this Kandahar loadout. Yeah, very good. Is that? Yeah, that'll be perfect. All right, very good. We have no magazines, though. We should probably throw a magazine in there. We're going to do the windowed magazine again. The reason, and I didn't get to talk about this in this part, I can't feel my rifle in this. I can't feel my magazine and tell you, whether or not I've got any rounds in the chamber. Or in, any spare rounds in the magazine. So it's either I count, which I'm not going to do, or, sometimes it goes click in the worst possible time. So I like to have the window. So if I hold the R key to check my magazine, I can tell whether or not there are any rounds in there. And from experience, we are going to go in at Bravo 3, which is down here. You see we have this strip. They've taken this block and turned it into a staging ground. They're making IEDs. They're doing all sorts of bad stuff here. They have Dishkas. Oh, very good. All right. Yeah, so you can see this is extremely target-rich environment. Yeah, but they have freaking Dishkas set up at various locations throughout here. It's sunset, so the overexposure. I don't know why the dev likes making all the Afghan missions at this time of day. I really wish they would do something else though. Like, why can't we have middle of the day Kabul or middle of the day Kandahar? That'd be pretty great. You see the Dishka gunner up ahead. For those of you that don't know, the Dishka is a 12. Wow. 45 seconds is all it took. This mission has been such a freaking pain in my rear. All right, let's... You know what? We should honestly be using our resources. We should use Reaper. Got shooters up ahead. All sorts of bad guys on this map, man. It is just crawling with tangos. Crawling. And they move on your position on this map. Worse than any of the other ones. They are just fine-tuned to your position. Alright, we're gonna dump... Ooh, God. So, we were just talking about, war as a horror backdrop. Oh, man. We got cracked. Lord have mercy. Ugh. So, we are going to use our resources here. You see this is a checkpoint they have set up. So we're going to hit that checkpoint with a JDAM and smoke them. We're going to hit this roving patrol. I'm going to try to do as much of this without ordnance as possible, but I am going to make our lives easier where I can. I could drop this right on the target area, but what fun would that be? So you see where we're facing. Target area is over this way. So we're going to cut through here, cut through this garage, and push on the objective. Dishka gunner. So you hear in the background, there's an individual on the loudspeaker taunting us directly, because they're probably, oh, God bless. Okay. Start over. We're gonna breathe easy. We're gonna get this done. It's hilarious how difficult this mission shooter. I have really been struggling with this mission in particular. Oh, shooters, all sorts. Okay, so this is a snafu. You know, it's bad when you can see the rounds, and we're gonna drop it right on their freaking heads. If they're giving us the option to use ordnance, we're going to use it. But something I wanted to talk about is you can hear an individual on the loudspeaker taunting us, right? And, you know, definitely not uncommon. For those of you that don't know, ISIS, ISIL, ISIS-K, etc. is a terror organization, and they are particularly known for their brutality, in a similar manner to how cartels are known for their brutality, right? Something that ISIS gained a lot of notoriety for doing over the past couple of years, where they're staged movie quality executions, right? Something very foul. Ooh, someone is... God, ISR is terrifying. Especially if you see like a large force moving on your position, you know, and there's nothing you can really do to stop that. That is absolutely terrifying. But ISIS is known for, you know, their various beheadings and immolations and all sorts of nasty stuff that they have done to people. And to such an extent, mind you, that other terrorist organizations such as the Taliban and Al-Qaeda don't agree with ISIS. Similarly to, like, the only comparison I really have for two terrorist organizations not really liking each other is like gangs. You know, just because you're a member of one particular gang does not mean just because you're a gang member does not mean you are friends with other gang members, right? So just because you're a terrorist does not mean that you're friends or, you know, kosher with other terror groups, right? So yeah, ISIS really ISIS really messed up their reputation doing some of the stuff they do. And, you know, they... Oh, God. And this is not saying or justifying anything they do. By no means. That's actually the opposite of what I'm doing. But ISIS preys on the innocent, and or once innocent, and when it comes to recruiting, like the once innocent, but yeah, ISIS preys on the weak and the innocent, and the those who can't defend themselves, and it's the same for their recruiting. They want those who can't think for themselves, yada yada yada. Just realized I'm starting to give a biopsy on ISIS, and that's not what I want to be doing. So we're going to continue shooting these dudes, playing our shooty shoot game. Oh, for the love of God. I find it kind of goofy that I can't shoot through open gaps like this. You see this? Frustrating. But we are approaching our target area pretty rapidly. Building 5 and 6 are up ahead, and this is where we had the most contact, wasn't it? Let's check our attacker. Zoom in here. Yeah, we got one to our left. That guy up there on the top right's a Dishka gunner. We might have smoked the dude, I don't know. But, ooh, Christ. Alright, that's a bad guy. God, the sun glare is insane. I really don't know why this is the aesthetic that everyone chooses for their Afghan maps. Like, there's so many more aesthetics you could pick from. If you wanted, why not the Korangal green? Like the greenish. God, so close, so close. We're going back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going back.
This is Weeper 7-2 on station and ready for tasking. Now.
Oh, but you're probably wondering, hey, why was he monologuing about ISIS? And, I don't want to hear a monologue about ISIS. Well, the reason I was doing that is because I was trying to explain something about, or trying to make another Horrors of War comparison using ISIS this time. And this chanting that you're listening to, I'm dropping this on this single Dishka gunner because I can't stand a Dishka gunner. Alright, we were at Bravo 3. Bravo 1 is down this way. And Bravo 1 is where Building 1 is, which is where we have a high concentration of a disproportionately high number of enemies. So we are going to move on them. Let's check my attacker here. Yeah, we're moving the right way. It's down here at the end. But all right, put yourself in this operator's shoes, right? You're in a country that you're not familiar with, an alien country to you, right? The populace that has taken over this particular area wants nothing more than to skin you alive, right? Which is a terrifying proposition for anybody. I don't care how hard you are, who you are, the fear and the threat of violence being so present is terrifying. You have all these hopped up fighters, pursuing you in their home country or, one of their neighboring home countries. But they're on their turf. This is their turf. This is not your turf. You did not grow up here. You're listening to a military-age male, a grown man, talk to you over and chant over a loudspeaker about how he thinks that you are the infidel, that his god or his variation of his god you know, is better than your God and is the only true God and is going to, you know, skin you alive and drain your blood from your body. That is terrifying. And you're moving one step at a time through these darkened corridors and darkened alleys, stepping over the gore and viscera of slain terrorists as you fight for another inch. Just another inch. It's, you know, it's an inch at a time. Take 1 inch at a time. One street at a time, one alley at a time. Trying to gain a foothold, but you've got, you know, these little, you know, these rats maneuvering on you and swarming through the alleys, flanking you. Then add in CQB, Close Quarters Battle Drill 6 to that mix. The heat and the intensity of these gunfights is no joke. You know, the crammed atmosphere, the often dirty or nasty atmospheres. You know, the sweat in the air, the sting of the sweat on your brow. Nasty stuff, man. Nasty stuff. I was trying to... We were really on a roll there, but we got dropped. That's alright. Looks like building 6 or 2. I can't tell. Let's just go get this over with. Anything to get me closer to killing 10,000 armed combatants. I think that achievement's called Fear No Man. My achievements are not updating with the new update. So I can't see any of the progress on some of these new achievements. I can see them in my Steam library, like before I click on achievements. But prior to that, I can't see anything. We're going to move on building 6. And go drop some bad guys. Man, I was really enjoying taking it slow and methodical, but the way the... Ooh, Christ alive, man. Why? Okay, we've got problems. We've got a lot of problems right now. We've got several extremely not good problems right now. All right, so we have a broken leg as a result of small arms fire received for not paying attention. Here's another example of horror. We are pinned down in a single structure. Thank God the AI can't throw grenades, because this is... Oh, for the love of God, where is our primary? Okay, here's a... Even further than just being, you know, pushed and pinned into an unfamiliar locale. One that has plenty of spots for the enemy to throw a frag in on top of your head. We've lost our primary weapon system. That is terrifying. Your weapon system, you know, as a soldier, your weapon system is an extension of your body, right? It is just another piece of you. Man, I'm,
Station. You find them, we drop them. Out.
Oh, okay. Alright, I don't know what just happened. We're not going to talk about it, though. We're just going to continue on. Keep on keeping on. We're going to hit
Sending it. Stand
the one building again.
by. Goodbye. Flash.
We're going to hit the one building again and clear it out like we did. Hopefully get some... Hopefully kill this freaking HVT and get out of here. But we have one heck of a run to get there. And we're about to get back into a close quarters battle. But I want to touch on like the nastiness that is close quarters battle, right? Enter and clear a room, clearing a structure with a team or solo, whatever you are doing. It's miserable, first and foremost. It is hot or cold, or it doesn't matter what the temperature is, because if it's freezing. Oh Christ alive, man! God, here we are again, getting ambushed in these freaking streets. I don't know, honestly, I don't know where they're coming from. And I'm not clearing every structure like I should be. Oh, for the love of God. 7 building and 6 building are hopping.
Sending it. Stand by.
Trying to keep it. See, it's kind of becoming, it's kind of becoming the same problem we had recording the tier 1 mode in this. I mean, we should be able to kill, 10 combatants by ourselves, right? Like, and do this again. Alright. So let's move. Contact front, high. So, CQB is loud and it's aggressive. What I was saying about the temperature is, you are most likely soaked in sweat and already miserable by the time any of this starts, any of this happens. 9 times out of 10, if you're in a 9 times out of 10, your journey didn't start your day didn't start kicking doors. Like you were running, moving around, being transported from point A to point B, from objective to objective. There's a lot of logistics that go into war and combat as a whole. Ooh, Christ. Nope. Oh my God. Getting smoked. All right, they're at the one building. I know I shouldn't be using my white light. It's a force I have it because I literally cannot see. I have a freaking massive monitor too. Like it's not like I'm playing on a small monitor where I can't see. I just genuinely cannot see these freaking dudes. And yeah, I probably should be using a G33 magnifier or something, but I'm not. We're just gonna have to. We're gonna have to deal with that reality. I'm gonna drop ordnance on these guys here and here. Yes, and here, and then I'm gonna hit that checkpoint as well. It seems like the one building is hot, very hot. But temperature, yada yada. You know, you're moving to your objective. You are already uncomfortable. You know, anyone that's ever worn Battle Rattle, it's not comfortable to wear forever. It's just not. You know, I mean, you can make the stuff as... You can modify your gear and your kit as much as you want. It's never going to be perfectly comfortable. It's just not meant to be. It's meant to be protective, you know? And then you add sweat and grime and blood and, you know, combat's loud and nasty and violent and, you know, stuff's getting thrown about. It's confusing, especially if you're not in a leadership position. And even then, even in a leadership position, combat's still confusing, you know? So you've got all these factors curling up together to make for one really nasty experience, you know? I'm going to frag in here. I'm going to throw a frag in here. I, under normal circumstances, would never even consider throwing on the funny switch. But I really want to make sure we get this done. Are there shooters outside? Yeah, there are. Holy crap. Store opens. I think I took one. Might have caught the plate. Okay. So this seems a little well defended to not have the HVT. I'm gonna throw a fresh mag in and continue clearing here. This opens towards us. Great. Just what we wanted. Alright, my friends, we're going to switch it up a little bit, because the definition of insanity, as you heard before, Voss said it. Voss said it. It's doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting a different result. So, Mr. Pipe is going to have to take a back seat to, night vision. I was gonna say Nancy, that doesn't make any sense. Let's throw on our... We want some ground panos, don't we? Some white phosphorus ground panos. Very good. Very good. Everything else is fine. I'm going to replace these with some Peltors. Yeah, very good. Alright, let's get the hell out of here. Back to our mission. 02 Bravo 3 02 execute. All right, very good, very good. Man, this is I'm not saying this is a bad mission. This is a difficult mission. Oh, my cat wants attention. He wants attention. He's been ignored. Papa's been in here recording. All right. See, my cat, bless his heart, he doesn't mean to, because he's just a little cat. But he comes over here and pretends that he wants attention, right? Which I'm sure he does genuinely want attention, but what he really wants to do is eat my Crocs, which he's not allowed to do. Alright, we'll kill the rest of these dudes. We're moving on building... What building was that again? Building 4. Alright, so right dead center. CQB and war and all that stuff is brutal and miserable, and you should avoid it as best you can if you can. You know, I know it sounds goofy because it kind of is goofy, but you should also not be doing what I'm doing. I'm not being a good warfighter right now. I am rushing and taking us on a really gnarly ride through a hot zone. Enemy concentration is centered around building 2. So that's where we're going to go.
Plato's in the way. Stand by.
And drop ordnance on this cluster. This cluster. And then that roving patrol. Try to make our lives a little easier. Again. Hopefully we can just get in and out this time. Alright. That's good enough. Alright, turn on our laser. And hit the road. I saw a light up here. Is there a Dishka at the end? Is that what it's telling me? Oh, for the love of God, dude. Yeah, that's sure as hell. That's a Dishka right there.
Visual mark. Summit. Stand by.
Yeah, look at that. Alright. Let us move. We're going to keep our IR laser off for the time being until we start getting into some problems. And the reason being is I think the enemies have nods. Actually, I don't think I know the enemies have nods. And I'd like for them to not see us coming. This is the one building. So that must be the 2 building, right? Which way are we facing in relation? Right, this should be it, right? No. Over there, yes. Yes. That's the 2 building, all right. Very good. It's this big gate here. Sneak through, hopefully. This game makes me feel dumb sometimes. Like, makes my hands feel dumb. I feel like I lose dexterity points sometimes. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like my hands aren't my own when I play this. You see, the bad guys, though, are wearing night vision. Just as we had suspected. That guy wasn't and was creeping up on us, which I detest that. See, they're smarter. They're smarter than they want you to think. Oh my God, I can't see. You want to know something about white phosphorus that sucks? White phosphorus does really good. White phosphorus does really good with ambient light. We have pain and a fracture. We're going to have to heal right here. Over everything? I'll tell you what, man, I am sick of listening to this dude announce. Yeah, I know, man, I know. God bless. This is a mess.
Bandage this up.
Did I not bandage it up? Stomach, thorax, head, hemo? No? Alright. Let's throw that visible light on. Are any of these our target? No. All right. Okay. Well, back to hell on earth here. So all that stuff that we were talking about earlier, now add darkness to it. Should have worn green phosphorus nods. I don't think it's going to make a difference, though. I mean, we're just having a rough go around here, ladies and gentlemen. A rough go at it. Okay. Just double checking the corpses here, making sure that our HVT didn't, you know, slip by us and in one way or another. What is this? This is so disorienting. You know, sometimes it works. Like right there, that was all right. Still not our target though. God bless. All right, we're gonna try something different. We're definitely gonna try something different instead of making ourselves sick doing that. Let's throw a G33 on this. I thought maybe doing it at night would make it easier. It does not seem so. So let us throw our G33 on here. Back that up a little bit. Perfect. All right. Good to go. Good to go. And let's head to Mexico, ladies and gentlemen. This is just not doing it for us. Cartel leadership in Sinaloa has grown increasingly careless, expanding their distribution hubs under the assumption that no one will challenge them. They're deeper into the border is moving illicit product and supporting cross-border activity that directly threatens U.S. interests and national security. They believe they're invisible. They are not. Southcom has issued a directive to locate, disrupt, and dismantle this narcotics hub in the Sinaloa region. Your team has been tasked with a deniable direct action strike to neutralize this facility. Enter the target area, neutralize or detain all armed personnel, and conduct SSE for intelligence recovery and network mapping. American lives are on the line. Finish the job cleanly and leave nothing useful behind. Happy hunting. Okay, so we got all the same stuff available to us. Looks like we're well, it looks like some type of shipping facility. Two main structures, probably product on hand. Doesn't look like doesn't look like we're going to be blowing anything in place. Just wiping the floor
We
with
pursued on
these
station and
with these
eyes
dudes.
on the AO, awaiting tasking.
Oh, very cool. Very good. All right, let's see if we can find us. Yep, there we are. No, I wish that wasn't there because I can't see what direction we're facing. All right, throw our nods on and step off. Very cool. Now, I am going to make an assumption that everyone here has seen Sicario. And I'm not going to make the assumption that everyone here was a American contractor that did PMC work in Mexico. Sicario is one of the best stories of all time. One of the best combat stories. The dev's a liar. Oh, for the love of God, look at that. Watch her fire. Accidentally kill a teammate. I just got an achievement. Very interesting. Very interesting there.
72 on station. Eyes on the AO, awaiting tasking.
Sorry, I was at a loss for words there. When we started getting ripped on by that Dishka, I thought the dev said that the only Dishka was on Kabul streets, but I mean, it would make sense for the cartel to have one. Not disparaging that whatsoever. Anyways, Sicario is one of the best written action films to come out. Action film, thriller, etc. to come out in a very long time. And what it does is it shows the reality of war, the reality of modern war and modern conflict in a light that we have not seen. Showing how gritty and grimy and how backhanded combat is, and how a lot of the dealings and not combat itself necessarily, but how backhanded government agencies are when it comes to their taskings. Let's see if we can. No, we can't. I'm just going to stand here and kill them if they're going to keep pouring out the gate. But Sicario goes to show that not only will the United States do anything to protect its interests, and I'd like to say protect its people, but that's a lie. But to protect its investments, the United States government is willing to do anything, whether that be let's go home and let's hit them at midday. Sound like a plan? Yeah, whether it be do Alpha 1 again, why not? Whether it be hiring a cartel hitman, and giving him, you know, the means to an end. The means being giving him advanced training on weapon systems and tactics, and kind of giving him free reign. All right, hello. Welcome back. We have switched our loadout ever so slightly. I have equipped the SR-25, so we can fire off 40 rounds of 7.62 by 51 M993 armor-piercing ammunition at this Dishka. I should be prepping and changing our loadout in between missions, but I haven't been doing that so much. I'm also testing these out. I have not played any of these yet. What we're doing now is getting to, well, except for Kabul Streets, which is a nightmare. Shout out to anybody who gets the Fear No Man, or whatever the Apex Predator achievement. Yeah, that's it. Whoever gets Apex Predator, oh man, I should have took my nods off. Nods during the daytime is a sin. But we were working on the night shift recently, so sometimes you don't have the chance to stop. They see us, don't they? Jesus Christ. All right, so Dev, one big thing you could do. Oh, for the love of God, man. I know we don't stick out that bad. Shoot. We are in trouble, aren't we? Alright. Well, stealth was never an option. Clearly, stealth was never an option. I wonder if we killed that dude right there. Anyways, ooh, Christ. Literally waiting to see their muzzle flash and firing directly at the muzzle flash, hoping we hit something. Okay, so that's not an option, as you saw. I even made it a point to low crawl to the objective, or at least low crawl to Jesus Christ. Here, I'm doing that thing again where I've been recording for some time and I'm starting to lose my words. Low crawl to the hide so that I can oversee the objective. I don't know why my parallax is messed up here. All right. Dropping bodies. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, so Dev, I have some complaints. Dude, you gotta, you've got some Terminators, man. I didn't realize. I didn't realize we were,
God damn it.
Okay, put the round in. I've been playing for too long. You can start to see the... Okay, this is the full magazine. Just making sure. Okay, so these guys started engaging us from way outside of what should be their engagement distance. Based on what, man? I'm wearing a spray-painted Mitch. I'm wearing a spray-painted Mitch in multicam, which blends in really good with our surroundings. Pretty darn good. Shoo! This is something, Dev. Alright, I'm going to try this one more time, except I'm going to use our... Oh wait, I meant to restart that. Pardon me. I am going to use our resources. I know I haven't been dropping ordnance. I like to try to play these straight up before I start dropping bombs on these guys. I'm going to go in from the rear, but we're going to drop a JDAM right on that number 1. Sorry, I kind of lost my commentary there. Another game that was a lot of fun. I have... My dad and I played... We had a lot of hours on Ghost Recon Wildlands. And surprisingly... It was, for like an arcade-ish experience, Ghost Recon, which is known for, you know, being a hardcore tactical shooter from, you know, our parents' day. I remember playing, like, I think it was Thunder Island, you know, from 2001 and whatnot, where your gun didn't have a motto, it was just a reticule on the screen, you know, but you could... I believe you could customize your character and your weapon and everything. Let me know if I'm thinking of the right thing. But let's take a prone position here and start dropping. But yeah, I vividly remember playing some of those experiences and just how blown away I was by the lack of certain elements, such as, you know, the lack of a visible rifle and stuff. And then you play something like this and it's, you know, fully rendered, fully modeled. The customization is unbelievable. And then you're telling me I have to manually manipulate my firearm? You know, if you would have told me that as a kid, I would have called you crazy. So there's no way that you can do that. What was I talking about, though? Wow. This is definitely getting our goat, almost as bad as Afghan. Everybody's inside here, it seems. Oh, my God. I am so quick to lose my train of thought. When it comes to... when it comes to Ghost Recon... my dad and I have innumerable hours on that. We played it religiously, front to back. Played it on the Tier 1 mode, or the SF mode, whatever it was. Ghost mode, where you had one life. You know, really enjoyed playing it. And it was, for an arcade experience, it showcased the horrors of war. That had one of the best, and I'm not a Ubisoft fan, you know. Tom Clancy, may you rest in peace. But, it had one of the coolest weapons customization systems and one of the coolest character customization systems I'd ever seen in the... Jesus, I saw what that was. That I'd ever seen in a video game, you know, and I loved it to death. And it, in between the, like, arcadey nature of... Lord have mercy, they weren't messing around with this new update. But with the arcadey nature of the gameplay, which you could play it as realistically as you wanted, or as arcadey as you wanted. Russians in Mexico, that's crazy. What do we got going on here? They're firing from the roof or inside, I can't tell. I can't tell. Something I'd like to see before I continue on my Ghost Recon rant is freaking the ability to climb, like these loading bays and whatnot. Let's make entry here. Oh great, another darkened interior. Alright, I think that's about enough, operator, for us today. These new missions are going to take a little extra patience. So why don't we run over, so we can get a win before we head out. Why don't we run over and do the Connecticut mission? Let's do a 04 Alpha 2 spawn. Okay, Ghost Recon was super arcadey. Ghost Recon Wildlands was super arcadey, and like the driving and everything was arcadey. It wanted to be super serious in some ways, like the way they handled Sandoval and the Deca 52. Like, it did want to be an extremely serious and gripping experience, but, you know, it was also very cartoony in some ways. It didn't shy away from violence, but, you know, then you had, like, the Unidad in their full riot gear at all times, and, like, the cartel members, not the cartel members, but the cartel head, Sueño, was it? Yeah, Sueño, having a freaking cross tattooed on his face, like a full cross tattooed on this face and whatnot, to make it less graphic, I guess. God, the kicking felt very awful early on in the operator world. The kicking was terrible, and it sounded like a missed round, you know, like sounded like my rifle being fired. Now it's meaty and it packs a punch, man. This is awesome. I am so glad that they fixed that. But yeah, this was the you know, everyone remembers Modern Warfare 2019's Clean House mission, which is great. And the reboot of Modern Warfare was a lot of fun, and I really liked that. Now I'll never play another Modern Warfare. I'm not spending any more money on Modern Warfare, even if it is one of the remakes. Like if they make a Modern Warfare 4 or whatever the hell, I'm done. And that is a personal decision, personal boycott based on all the BS that goes on with these AAA studios and stuff. You know, putting out all these games back to back to back to back, and you know, I don't really need to to justify that thought process. I don't feel, you know, I think most of us are used to getting screwed by devs. And after Modern Warfare 3, which after 2019, I really thought they were going to be different, you know. But the battle passes and, you know, the paid expansions and stuff just over and over, it's the same revolving door of nonsense. I don't care how good your campaign is. Like, man, I really, really loved the Cold War campaign. You know, I thought that was really neat. And the fact that you could... Sorry. The fact that you could complete it in different ways. How ingenious is that, you know? Alright. All visible threats neutralized, I do believe. Yeah, that's incredible. But, yeah, I hate to contribute to something like that over and over and over and over again. And, you know, I've gotten burnt doing that. And, you know, for years, I was like, you know what? Like, I mean, I loved indie games, don't get me wrong, I still do. But I didn't have any qualms about dropping $60, you know, because I just thought that's what happened, you know, I thought that's what you did for a long time. And then I grew up and I figured I saw through the veil of that stuff, you know, which sucks, but they did something really cool. And Clean House was awesome. Some of those missions were great. Look at that. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm very happy that they added new stuff to this. Even though some of it is a little difficult solo, I am very happy to see new stuff added. There's one more thing before we go that I want to do, and that is I want to do Kabul again. I want to do it at 02, Alpha 1. We're going to do something stupid. No, we're not. Hold on. Like that. Tier 1. Yeah, perfect. All right. That's what we're going to do. Very stupid, I know. You're going to see. Don't worry. All right. No, don't worry. I'm gonna give you target data. I'm going to cheese the new cosmetic. You might say, how is it cheesing when it's offered? It feels like cheating, doesn't it? This very much so feels like I'm cheating the game. Nice. Very good. So it looks like building 1 is our stronghold, and against my better judgment, I'm going to walk us directly into building 1. Ooh. We have a long walk though compared to where we were. You hear that rock us? It never, our Brown never came. Are we out of ordnance? Yeah, we could be. Okay. Very cool. Well, let's hit the road. That's interesting. Although it makes sense. I mean, you know, your Predator drone does not carry unlimited Hellfires. But I did not know that in the context of Operator. Is that a mirror? Oh, for the love of God, we're a vampire. So, this is Main Street. Yes, yes, yes. Right here, over yonder, right? There's a dish cut at the end there that we took out. See all the dead lining the streets here. This is Main Street. The illuminator makes it very difficult to see. I'm going to quit turning that on indoors. Try this again. The slightest bit of ambient light really makes our nods struggle. See, it's pitch black out here otherwise. We are moving. Yeah, we are rapidly approaching our target. Very good. Just making sure I knew where we were going. So that's the mosque spire that you see on when we spawn at Bravo 1, 2, or 3. That's the one that runs behind us. That is building 2, I believe. I'm fairly certain this is building 2, and then building 1 is through this alley. So, now, how the heck? Do we have to go through here? Hold on. Okay. I'm a little unsure of what that was. I think that was an IED. I've yet to encounter an IED.
Reaper 72 on station. Eyes on grid. Awaiting Coyotes on the way. Stand by.
Alright. Coyotes on the way. We're going to wait for that. We're definitely going to wait for that. I know it said that they were manufacturing IEDs. I hadn't thought that they'd be setting them up. But that makes sense, man. So we're we got to get our 06 on here, and no, correction, we got to get our 04 on here. Time to ranger up. You better make it count. We're gonna try to finish this out. We're gonna try to finish this out. If this doesn't work, then we're gonna call it. But I got a good feeling. Got a real good feeling. You see them wearing nods? That is the most surreal. Seeing the enemy in night vision is one of the most surreal things. One of the most surreal things to me in recent years. I mean, it was bound to happen eventually, right? Like, eventually the enemy's going to get their hands on similar gear to us, right? You know, to us being, you know, the let's say the coalition, right? Or the good guys, or, you know, whatever. But eventually, the enemy's going to start wearing ballistic vests and tactical rigs and using radios, you know. There's a progression of insurgency, right? And it's just so strange when you see someone wearing night vision. Another example in gaming I can think of is the 2019 Call of Duty, where you encounter, not the Clean House mission. Was it Modern Warfare 2? Where, no. Oh my god, which one? Maybe it was. It's one of the new Call of Duties where Ghost says choices have consequences, you know, where you can choose to either pursue the or not choose, you don't have a choice, but Ghost makes the call to continue chasing Hassan instead of rescuing the team members that have been shot down in their Chinook or whatever. It's either like get there now or, you know, track down Hassan. Anyways, all that aside, yeah, the enemies you fight there, which are, I think they're A something, or they're based off Al Qaeda or ISIS, any number of terror organizations. They have a similar appearance to these guys wearing nods. It's just crazy to think of. Listening to these threats, the threats of death, which I talked about earlier, but then, you know, listening to the broadcast at night is definitely scarier than listening to it in under the light of the sun. You know, and this whole lone operator feeling is horrific. Soldiers always have bare minimum your battle buddy to fall back on, right? You always got somebody else. You know, a sniper always has a spotter. Now, in this particular instance where we are a lone wolf, that's horrifying, man. It really is horrifying. Against 40-plus trained insurgents. It reminds me of when Rabbit got dropped off on the freaking mountain in Medal of Honor. The best Medal of Honor 2010, followed by Warfighter, which was also very good. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Would you consider that a hot take? I really liked... got me looking for IEDs now. So, corpses on the side of the road, human and or animal corpses, trash piles, freaking... Oh, man. Okay. We gave it our best shot there, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to leave you on a L like that, but this is tough. We're gonna have to get our stuff together and come back and hit him again. I do believe that's the only way to do it. But I just wanted to showcase some of this stuff and, you know, talk your head off about, you know, any number of different things. Particularly, you know, I did want to touch base on us trying to find our niche. And for us right now, we've got all these different branching paths, which is a good thing. I think it's good to have variety. I don't want you folks out there to get lost in the sauce, you know. And I'm also talking to myself a little bit, like, you know, about not getting lost in the sauce, not getting lost in the concept, and just producing the end result, you know, producing the product to give to you folks that are watching. Putting labels and whatnot on everything all the time, in my opinion, is not always the best thing. I feel oftentimes when you tell people about something, if you tell people you're going to do something, 9 times out of 10 you end up like failing what you're trying to do, right? Because some people call it the evil eye concept. Just a superstition, you know? So I'm not gonna think too much about like where we're going. I mean, I'm thinking about where we're going, but I'm not gonna think too much about what we're doing or what our channel is. You know, the channel is the channel, and the channel's, you know, we're doing great. Everything's great. You know, we don't need a crazy, rigid, defined identity to have cool content and have a good time together. So, anyways, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope your Christmas was very merry. This is the day after Christmas. Well, technically 2 days after Christmas. It's Saturday now. But I want to thank you so much for tuning in and sticking around while we figure out what the hell's going on here. Because, frankly, I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'm an unreliable narrator. So, thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next one. We got more content to come as always. Something for everybody, no doubt. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us out tremendously. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Anyways, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. More content on the way. Yada, yada, yada. I'm getting sleep deprived. It's time for me to go. Remember to mind the gap, stalkers. Mind the gap. And have a good one.